Welcome back to Talkville, guys. Ryan, Tom, we're here.
Thank you for being here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year.
However this airs, Happy New Year.
Whenever this airs, it doesn't matter. It's our first episode after the New Year that we're actually recording. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm happy to say that these next two episodes I kind of liked. I did. So it's, I was just shitting on the show. And because it deserved some shitting. And now I feel like the next two episodes are a little more delightful. And before we get into it, I just want to say thank you to all the patrons out there who are supporting this podcast. Patreon.com/talkville. Join today and become part of the family. And it really helps the podcast. You're the reason why we're still here. Patreon, patreon.com/talkville. There's also talkvillepodcast.com and tons of merch. You can get autographed pieces of art by me and Tom from the special artist who did some great artwork. And there's some prints. And once the prints are gone, that's it. So a lot of cool stuff. And the store's always booming. That people are enjoying that. Also, if you didn't get a chance to call in the hotline, make sure you call in the hotline a few episodes in advance because people are always leaving messages.
I just want to do a season's greeting to Ryan. He doesn't need to be here, but he's here, and I appreciate that.
What do you mean?
You're right. I don't.
No, what do you mean he doesn't need to be here without Ryan?
Yeah. What?
No, I mean I want him. I want him to be here, but he doesn't need to be here. I mean, he's good at what he does, and don't get me wrong. But if he was not here, we would miss him. So he chooses to be here, which I enjoy.
We would miss him.
Tom is saying a nice thing. Thank you, Tom.
No, I think he's messing with you.
Trying to say something nice. Paging Dr. Freud.
We can't do this show without Ryan. I won't do it without Ryan. Ryan is.
I can't do it without Bryce.
That's true. I can't do it without. That's true.
Well,
we both can't do it without Bryce. No, this show wouldn't exist without Bryce. That's for sure. All right, let's stop S-ing each other's D's. Make sure you follow us at Talkville Pod, I believe, or at Talkville Podcast. You know where to find us. Write a review. Please spread the word. Get people to listen and watch. Without further ado, let's get into season 4, episode 5. This is called Run.
Title. This was fun.
Fun. Title was Run. Aired October 20th, 2004. Directed David Barrett. I think I got in a fight with him. It was his first episode. Writer Stephen S. DeKnight. Guest star KYLE GALLNER as Bart Allen, which, by the way, we have a very special guest today. I won't tell you who it is. KYLE GALLNER. From Smile, from Scream. He's awesome. So is Benjamin Ratner as Hannison.
He's just he's also a wonderful person.
Yeah. You're going to love this interview. We've got KYLE GALLNER. We're just saying it. We got him here today. So there's your surprise. Synopsis. Lex acquiring a new artifact sparks Clark's interest in uncovering the secrets hidden beneath. However, things go haywire when a super fast petty thief gets involved.
Brian, I have a question for you real quick. What's the deal with the cats at the beginning of this episode? Did that spark your interest?
Yeah, the cat that goes by. I think it was just kind of cool. It was just added kind of thing.
It's 3 times, though.
It is multiple times. That's a lot of cats for a show without many cats.
I just didn't know
pets in general.
We can move on. We can cut that.
I think it just added some life, some darkness, energy. Stray cats. Listen, it's symbolism. Stray cat, the Flash character is sort of a stray guy on the run. So he's kind of a stray cat.
There you go.
I don't know if maybe the Flash had a pet cat in the comics. Maybe.
Next question.
I don't know.
Anyway, the episode begins to the tune of The Roots as we see Bart Allen, a petty thief, meeting with Hannison, someone he sells stolen items to. After dropping a reference to the Flash, Bart gets frustrated that Hannison isn't willing to pay more. A distraction allows Bart to super speed away before the thugs can escalate things. I thought that was
Did anybody else see that this... So this bad guy, right, who buys this stuff, did you realize that all he did was talk about being in a hurry, but he wasn't actually moving fast at all?
Hurry. We've got to hurry here.
He was the slowest rushed person I've ever seen.
Yeah, it kind of made you go, okay. In Metropolis, Clark is accompanying his father, who's getting new meds from his cardiologist before heading to a football game gifted by Lex. As Jonathan stops by a magazine stand, we see a drunk driver in broad daylight, sipping from a brown bag, losing control of his truck. The truck goes barreling towards Jonathan. Clark begins to move to save his dad, but he's too late because Bart gets there first, shoving him to the side. Not only does he save Jonathan, but Bart also steals his wallet in the process. And I think it's the second drunk driver Kent-related accident. Perry.
Probably.
Yep.
But also, I don't think
it's
he's
just he takes a little something for the effort.
No.
But do you realize the dueling plaids I thought was funny?
Yeah, that was a little
father
bit,
and son.
I thought Jonathan's plaid was too big. It looked really big on him.
Let's go to the city. Let's put our plaids on and go to the city.
It was like a XXL, and it should have been a large. Jonathan and Clark head home empty-handed. Jonathan wants to call the credit card company to cancel everything, but Clark says they should call Chloe to help track this guy down. Clark leaves, and then Jonathan tries to arrange a romantic night out with Martha, but he gets denied. We cut to a scene with Jason and Lana making out next to a fireplace. During the session, Jason notices Lana's tattoo, her tramp stamp. He makes a couple of jokes about being like a naval tattoo, and Lana tries to brush it off to not draw more attention. And then Jason tells her he doesn't care about the tramp stamp. He just wants to make sure Lana doesn't keep secrets from him anymore.
That's not what he said.
Yeah. I think he was really interested in that tramp stamp, though.
I think he was.
I think that's really what he wanted.
Listen, I think the point here is what you're seeing is Lana trying to navigate a world where she has secrets and doesn't want to share, which is what she wanted Clark to share. And now she has a secret she can't share. And I think that's the story they're trying to tell us. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, but again...
And Jensen's very open-minded, or Jason. I know.
This storyline just pisses me off. It's just like...
Not sharing
It's
secrets.
not just the coach. I'm talking about the tramp stamp and this symbol from this mummified whatever back in Paris. And what does it mean? And we're going to come out. There's not going to be any great reveal on this.
It means that Kristen Crook's contract is up, is what it means.
It means something. I don't know what the hell, but it bothers me.
You know what's funny, though, is if Lex Luthor could watch this TV show, he would be into all of it. He'd be like, oh, where's this going to lead? I'm going to follow every minute of it. But Lex isn't, because he's doing his own thing.
Maybe not. Back in Metropolis, we see Clark breaking into the hotel room of the thief who saved Jonathan. While snooping around the inside, he gets a good look at the signature lightning bolt backpack. Clark also notices all the aliases and different ID cards. Jay Garrick, Barry Allen, Wally West. That was pretty cool. I like that.
I totally missed that.
You did?
I missed because I don't know those names.
All right.
I had to watch 4 seasons of Flash for
I'm
work.
disinformed.
You did?
Yeah.
When Jason and Lana are kissing and they're talking about the tattoo, that I'm showing you right here. That's the Kent living room. That's where they shot that scene.
That's so weird.
It's probably efficiency, but I'm telling you, I know that. I mean, I
know that room. Bart walks in, starts playing dumb to stealing from Jonathan. He then tells Clark nobody can see him while he's doing this thing, and Clark tries to sit him down, but Bart makes a run for it, saying, "Smell you later." Clark pursues him, but stops short as Bart runs on water across a lake, which is badass. He heads back home to inform his father, but when Clark arrives, he finds Bart relaxing inside the kitchen, which I thought was pretty dope. Tom, any memories from the super speed slow-mo scenes in this episode in particular? First time it's done with someone else? Any memories being around for the walking on water scene or anything like that?
Just about what you think about, like what are you focusing on when you're doing these powers? Because obviously it's being done in post. And I remember saying something about you just have to focus on the fact that you can do it. Like you're picking up a tractor and you're throwing it. Like that's, you can do it. You can run across water. So when you run toward the water, run. What I found in watching this, when Clark enters the apartment for Bart, I did a lot of things like moving through, like John Schneider, like moving through my shoulders because it's a very boring entrance, but
right.
Like we keep it activated so that when he comes out of the like shower or whatever, he's surprised. I know there's a lot of little things that we made happen in this episode, I guess.
The two super kids go to talk in the barn. Bart is stoked to meet someone as fast as him and shares his story with the lightning strike that sent him into overdrive. And Clark is somewhat confused that there can be someone with strange powers outside of Smallville. And Bart explains that his parents weren't supportive of these newfound powers and goes on to try and recruit Clark to leave Smellyville. That's what he tries to do. That night, Bart and Clark return from their rendezvous into Miami in time for the Talon's grand opening. Chloe shows up and Bart starts putting the moves on heavy. I love that. And you know what? I kind of like Chloe's hair. She looked cute. She looked more cuter than normal. You know? Anyway, I'll move on. Clark leaves the Talon upon Lex's request to meet up at Luthor Mansion. There, Lex shares an artifact that he had to bribe some Russians with vodka to obtain. Its 14th century manuscript with Kowalczyk symbols across its border.
So I thought this was cool. It looked like a tree when he did use the X-ray vision. And I know that later we're going to find out more about that Lex is also informed about the hidden meeting behind the visual. But like, what is it? It wasn't clear to me. It was something, but I don't know what it was.
It was a map.
It was a map.
It said it was a map.
Yeah, it's a map, but of what?
I know. Like, it looks like a shitty map.
It's like a map of a map of a tree.
It looks like a tree branch.
Hey, Ryan,
it's a map, but there's only one way to go, right?
It's just I was just like, and then you're drawing it. It was kind of weird. I don't know.
Well, listen, at the end of this episode, sorry to spoiler, but like we don't know what it is, other than that not only does Clark see it, but Lex sees it. But in this next episode, Transference, there's no reference to it at all. So I just, did I miss something in the map?
I don't think you did.
What is it?
I think we all are anticipating what the hell this is, right?
Yeah.
That's all.
All right.
Lex goes into the monologue about the battle depicted in the manuscript, and Clark uses X-ray vision to see some sort of, like we just talked about, hidden map inside the document. As Clark leaves, Bart pops up in. He's surprised that he knows Lex personally. You know Lex Luthor? Lower your God-blessed voice. He was so loud. I'm like, of course Lex is going to hear. Mm-hmm. What I like is that when Lex comes out and goes, Clark, who are you talking to? You had no answer.
There's nothing.
I mean, it was really odd. And then the same answer later on when the thing's gone in the Lex's office, and you just go,
This is what I love about Lex. He asks questions that he already knows answers to see how people react.
Yeah.
Like Lex is informed.
Where do we go now? All right.
Was there not like a line written where you had an excuse and they just went with this take, or that was it?
No.
Wow.
No, there's just acting.
I was just talking to myself, Lex. Sorry. I was just trying to remember what I'm supposed to do for my mom. My mom asked me to pick something up. Or I was just talking to some dude who just appeared here and then disappeared.
Also, the first time that Clark doesn't really have an excuse for like a superpower thing. Like he's got excuses every episode.
Yeah, the first time excuse this time. Speechless, Clark. Speechless. Beachless.
Speechless in Smallville.
Clark heads home to share the news with Jonathan, forgetting that they agreed upon earlier in the episode. Clark is now determined to follow the map in this manuscript. Jonathan's disappointed that his son is still being puppeteered by Jor-El, and Clark defends his actions, saying he wants to make sure whatever is on the other side doesn't get into the wrong hands. Back in the loft, Bart shows up to talk more about Lex Luthor, muttering that it must be impossible to be that rich by playing it straight. He invites Clark to head to the Man Theater for a premiere of Speed with Keanu. Clark turns him down, determined to swap out Lex's manuscript. The irony of Clark having no issue with stealing this document after being on Bart's case about stealing. Clark heads over to the Luthor Mansion, but he's late. Once inside, alarms start going off inside his office and the documents missing, seemingly stolen by Bart. Lex and an armed security guard enter, surprised to find Clark standing over the empty display case going, hey. Clark uses his quick thinking to get out of it, telling Lex, I was just stopping by to say hello, and which makes sense. Lex is frustrated and trying to figure out who robbed him. So Lex goes on to say that he's sure he can hire someone fiscally challenged to find the thief and that there is nowhere on earth that he could run from Lex Luthor. That's kind of the first time we've heard that, where he refers to himself in, what do you call that?
Third person. Literally, he comes in with a gun and it's like, what could you possibly be doing here right now?
Talkville is brought to you by Policygenius. Guys, we've talked about this. how important life insurance policies are. And this is who you want to get in business with, Policygenius. They are the go-to. Tom, you've talked about how important life insurance policy is for your family.
Yeah. What you're buying is peace of mind, really, because you're not buying it for you. You're buying it for your family. And like I said, your peace of mind. And I have friends who've used Policygenius and literally had that response. So it's a great company. I'm glad we get to work with them.
Make life insurance part of your financial planning this year. Start shopping now with Policygenius to find the right policy to protect your family. Policygenius technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from America's top insurers in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. And if you already have a life insurance policy through work, it may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and it may not follow you if you leave your job.
Policygenius has licensed, award-winning agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs.
They work for you, not the insurance companies. It means they don't have an incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. And no wonder they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Save time and money and provide your family with a financial safety net using Policygenius. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Save time and money and provide your family with a financial safety net using Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Talkville is brought to you by Betterhelp, Betterhelp Online Therapy. I don't know what else to say about these guys. They are fantastic. Betterhelp has helped so many people, many of which are my friends and family. And it's so important. You know, we're destigmatizing mental health, and we're making it okay for people to talk about their problems and their issues and their lives. And life is so much better when you have somebody who's a professional that you can talk to about things that you don't necessarily want to talk about with other people. And BetterHelp is there. And with all sorts of issues, you think that just people with severe trauma need therapy and that's it. That's so untrue. If you want to make your life better, you've got to try BetterHelp. I really recommend it. A common misconception about relationships is that they have to be easy to be right. But sometimes the best ones happen when both people put in the work to make them great. Therapy can be a place to work through the challenges you face in all of your relationships, whether with your friends, work, your significant other, yourself, or anyone. I know this. I've had issues with friends in the past that are bringing me down, and I don't know exactly what's going on. And I talk to a therapist, and they bring things to light that I never would have thought about. And they help me manage a healthier relationship or weeding people out. You know, it's important. It's really important. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, empowers you to be the best version of yourself, which I think is the most important. It isn't just, like I said, for people who've experienced, all this trauma in their life. It's for everyone. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. That's, I think, the misconception is like, what if I don't like my therapist? They never even know. You just end it and you get another therapist. It's not like you have to say, I'm really sorry that I have to. It's painless and quick. And the next thing you know, you have a therapist that might work for you. And if not, you change another one. It's free. They just want what's best for us. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit betterhelp.com/talkville today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/talkville. Lana heads to the town for some reason after closing. She sees Martha stressed out and overworked, and Martha tells Lana and Jonathan thinks she took the job to help their finances. But in reality, it's an excuse for her to get out of the house for fear of losing Jonathan. Lana tells her that that's basically like losing him already. Martha then thanks her for her sage advice.
Great scene, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're huge fans of Annette, obviously, and Kristen, but like, that's a hard scene. Like, it's like an adult married woman talking to this girl who just found out she had a tattoo on her back for no reason.
I bet Kristen really enjoyed that too. I bet she loved working with.
It's hard. Yeah.
With Annette. Bart goes back to meet with Hannison, trying to pawn off the manuscript lifted from Lex. They end up knocking out Bart as Lex arrives to retrieve the document. After learning that Bart is a kid, he wants him released. Lex then tells them that he already called the cops and they should be arriving soon. Shortly after, Hannison's muscle goes to apprehend the billionaire, but Lex uses Lana-like moves to take out the security guard before getting knocked out by Hannison with one crappy punch. How many takes did these knockout scenes usually take? I just remember, it's nice to see Lex. Lex is trained before. He's boxed before. He's an adult. He's taken martial arts. He's fenced. I like that he steps up here. It's nice to see him not just get the shit beat out of him. But then after all that ass beating, Lex just gives that guy, Mr. Heavyset guy, punches Lex in the face and knocks his ass out. Come on!
Listen, I want to support this. As a viewer, I'm watching this episode and Lex all of a sudden he's John Wick. You know what I mean? And I was like, where'd this come from? Because all you ever see is him getting hit in the head and falling down or waiting. This is great.
Yeah, I liked it. Hannison then takes his anger out on Bart, pulling a pistol on him and asking him if he's faster than a speeding bullet. Luckily, Clark arrives just in time, because he is, snatching the gun and throwing Hannison through the roof. Clark goes to check on Lex, but while he's searching for a pulse, Bart pulls out some kryptonite to weaken Clark so he can steal the manuscript. While on the ground, though, Clark makes an emotional appeal to Bart, who at first fights it, but eventually gives in, which is rare. I haven't seen that. That was cool. And the next day on the farm, Clark reconnects with his father, telling him that he wishes he can embrace his powers like Bart does. And Jonathan tells his son that there's a difference between embracing them and flaunting them. Shortly after, Martha arrives back home. Her and Jonathan flirt a little and then embrace each other again.
Another great scene. Scene. I mean, it's a very delicate thing what they balance there, and they make it look easy, but I just love the way that they connect. I just love those people.
I like that, certain directors, I just, aren't that great with direction. They're more for action and more for, they don't really deal with the actors as much. And when you're a pro, when you've done it enough, you don't rely on the director. You don't rely on anything else but yourself, your instincts, and your but the director's there to help you. No, but I'm saying it's nice to be able to rely on yourself. Like, some people are like, I need help. Yeah. I need the director. I need this. I need all these things, these tools, these props. I don't think Annette needed anything. I don't think John needed anything.
No.
It was just nice. Right. The episode concludes with Lana bringing Jason down to the caves. She shares how Clark always kept these from her. Jason reassures her that she doesn't need to worry, so Lana goes on to share how many of the same symbols in the caves were on the sculpture in Paris before she became unconscious. Clark goes to check on Lex, playing dumb to what happened in Metropolis, and while doing so, he finds that Bart returned the manuscript to Lex. Lex then tells Clark that he paid some expert to analyze the contents of the manuscript.
I think we have to get Jensen on this podcast, because I guarantee they didn't tell him that his character, like, Smallville didn't tell you what your character was going to be, maybe the next episode, let alone next season.
No.
And his character becomes something really big. We got to have Jensen on the show and just be like, what did you know? Because he's playing a character in a cave with a girl who got a tattoo who didn't ask for it.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything.
Like, being very
he might as well be the
open
masked
about it.
singer.
Like, he's just very...
Yeah, he doesn't know what the hell's going on.
And he's doing great.
Yeah, he's great. Lex tells Clark that they found nothing and believe he overpaid, but as Clark leaves, we see Lex reviewing the secret hidden map of the manuscript in his laptop. We get a final scene between Bart and Clark. Before Bart takes off, he suggests that they start a club and find more super friends, or a league. They have one final super speed chase as we get played out to Rascal Flats.
So Bryce came on and said that the map has something to do with stones this whole season. But I will say this, like, if you look at Lex's face, he's got a cut that should have like 4 stitches in it.
Oh yeah.
And like you're playing it like it didn't even hurt.
Yeah.
Like
it was just a
that's
punch.
a severe wound.
Highlights and lowlights. No Lionel and Lois in this episode. I wonder, since they were regulars, if they got paid, even if they weren't in it. I wonder. I always wonder those things. Given this is the first episode for this writer and director, did it still feel like Smallville to you? Any memories of new directors on set melding to the series? I had an incident with this guy. The only two people I've ever had an incident with was James Marshall and this guy. This guy, his name was David Barrett. So I was getting in makeup and everything was fine. It was the beginning of my day. I came in, my call was a little later, and I'm in makeup and I walk on set, greeting everybody. And the director comes up to me, David, and just says, "You're effing me. You're effing me," screaming in my face. "The day is getting ruined because you're late and this and that," and just screaming at me. And I'm like, I'm so taken aback that I am just like, whoa. And the AD goes, Rosenbaum, I forgot his name. But he goes, "Hey, let's do this after the take. We got to get this take. This is a big shot, big crane shot." And I go, he goes, we'll talk about it after. And I'm with Erica, and the crane's coming down. They're rolling camera. I wish they would have saved it. And Erica looks at me and goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "No." And as the camera goes, I look into the camera. I go, "Fuck you." And I beeline to this guy. And they had to hold me back. And I go, "Motherfucker, you don't talk to me this way. Who the hell are you? I wasn't late. I've never been late, ever." And we start going on and blah, blah, and they're holding me back. And he's like, "Ugh." And I go to my trailer and I kind of chill out. I'm just trying to, and one of the producers like, "Hey, he'd like to apologize." I go, "Fuck that guy." And he's right outside my trailer. I go, "No, anybody who talks to somebody like that, it doesn't deserve to be talked to." And he's like, "Hey, Michael,
I don't need your I'm sorry."
He's like, "I'm really, 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 really sorry. And I realized it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't your fault." And finally I went out there and I go, "Dude, even if I was late, I mean, which I wasn't. I mean, know your fact. You don't talk to people." It was and then everything was okay. We figured it out and everything was fine. And we talked. And but it was not a pleasant moment. It was not a pleasant moment for anybody. Because I don't lose my cool. And he pushed my every button. It's like somebody just going up to you and punching you in the face. And you're going, "Whoa, what did you do that for?"
Well, something and Bryce and I talked about is we have a special guest that we're going to bring on right now. And his name.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't hate him. I mean, it was just a moment. It was just like,
no, it's fine. Listen,
but he was a little bit of a, what's the word? He was definitely more of a hipster, hipster. He's a hipster guy.
It's also just not an effective way of communication.
No. It was like
talk that
unbelievable
way to people in general.
I remember like it was yesterday how I felt. I felt like so. Do you know when you get
incensed,
when you're always doing the right thing and you feel like, "Hey, I'm always on time. Hey, I'm always on this. I know my lines. They can always rely on me." And then they're like, "You suck." And you're just like, it felt like my dad. It felt like, wow, you're lashing out at me for no reason. And I have to defend myself.
And that's a very strong trigger.
It was a very strong trigger for me.
Because it really had nothing to do with you. And we know that now. It had everything to do with him being scared.
Oh, dude. Were you there when I went at him?
I don't recall this. I just remember, I don't think I got along with him either because it was, we had a handful of directors who never were invited back, who they were just like, they weren't directing. They were like, what's the word? I haven't prepared this argument.
He did another episode though.
But they were like, they would just tell you, directing is different. Directing is giving someone a nugget so they can be creative and find their own voice with a moment. That's a horrible way of describing it. Dictating, like a dictator, is a different thing.
There's a dictator and a director. Yes. I felt like he did a good job. I thought like I just felt like that was just so uncalled for. And I think we had another moment which was a little rough, but regardless, just watch how you talk to people, and don't scream at somebody when you don't know the facts. And it's like, anyway, moving on. Interesting things of note. Bart Allen is the first future hero introduced on Smallville. Bart Allen is the alter ego of DC Comics superhero Impulse, who later becomes Kid Flash and eventually is the fourth hero to be called The Flash. At the Talon, Chloe asks Bart where he's from, and he jokingly replies, the future. In the comics, Bart Allen, also Impulse and Kid Flash, really was from the future. When Clark enters Bart's room, a Smallville comic book is seen open on the coffee table. The episode aired 2 days before KYLE Gallner's 18th birthday. And now, speaking of KYLE Gallner, let's go and talk to him and see what he's up to. He's done so many great things. The movie Smile, which is one of my favorite horror movies of the year, and so much other stuff. Let's go talk to him. He's a great guy, and he's grown up a little bit. He's got a family. We got a very special guest, Kyle. The people mess up your name all the time. I think I messed it up. It's Gallner, right?
Gallner, yeah. Everybody says Gallner, but it's Gallner.
Mr. Gallner, can I get a quarter pounder? Oh, what are you working at Wendy's?
Not Gallagher?
Dude, I know. You don't get Gallagher. Dude, but welcome, man. I'm so excited. I know you got to take the kids surfing. I know it was not easy. You're on vacation, and you did this. And it's been so long since you were on Smallville, but welcome, and we thank you. We're really happy.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. It was nice. It was nice to get the. I was actually wondering. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna fucking reach out to me or not.
Well, we did. We just got the episode. It was called Run, and we just watched it. And I'm happy to say that it was good. That I liked the episode because it sucks when you talk to someone and you didn't really like the episode, but maybe like them. But you were really, a lot of guest stars come on, and I feel like they're fine. And they do their job, and they play the bad guy, or they play this. And then there's characters that come along, actors that come along that are memorable and give a arc to the story and the character. And I just felt like you did that, and you nailed it. So,
thanks, man.
Yeah.
A lot of times characters are brought onto a show to service the lead character.
Right.
What I saw on this episode is I saw Clark watching you, and it addresses one of the biggest issues that still is out there, which is funny, I think, for us to talk about, is who's faster, Flash or Superman?
Flash.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah. No, It was cool, man. I mean, it was like my first real get. I had just been out in California. I hadn't been out there very long. I moved from Pennsylvania, and it was sort of like my first real deal thing where it wasn't like a guest star. I mean, it kind of was, but it was like a big deal. It was like, no, you're going to be a superhero. It's going to be...
You were the lead of this episode.
Yeah. It was like my first time. Yeah. And I didn't know shit. I knew nothing. It was cool because everybody was so nice with their time, and really, I truly learned a lot on that episode because everybody kind of took me under their wing, and it was really a very safe space to kind of fuck up almost. I remember there was a scene where I had to show the kryptonite, and they were like, you need to tilt it. And I was like, but I don't understand what you mean. I didn't know what they were talking about. Or there was another scene where you threw a bad guy through the roof, and I'd never been on a set where there's stunts and there's stuff. And I just kept thinking, I was like, thank God the camera wasn't on me, because as soon as you launched that guy through the roof, I was like, I would have completely ruined the shot, because I had never been around anything like that before.
So you were a kid in a candy store, pretty much. You were sort of like,
oh my God.
Shit.
I mean, it was so fun. And from what I heard originally, they were trying to find somebody who was maybe as big as you, Tom, at the time, more grown up and bigger. So my reps had told me that may be the way they're going. And then when they hired me, I was a teenager perpetually in a 10-year-old's body kind of for a long time.
You're absolutely perfect. You're absolutely perfect for this. Like Warner Brothers casting, they found the right people.
Yeah,
they did.
You were. I also saw myself watching this episode. I saw me listening to you a lot.
You saw your character listening to you, listening to him.
I saw my character listening to you a lot. I wanted to understand you, and you had that. You brought that to it. Because you could have just been a punk. You could have just been a punk.
Yeah.
You could have.
Yeah. But he had heart. He learned that you're accountable, you're responsible for, the things you do. And he thinks he just has, the ability to do something. So he'll do it. And he does it because he can. And he doesn't realize there's the repercussions, and there's people behind these feelings or these ideas. So it was cool. Talkville is brought to you by Good Chop. Oh man, just wait till you hear this. Good Chop offers fully customizable boxes of high quality meat and seafood delivered to your door on schedule. And we're not talking this costing you a fortune. Good Chop's price per meal starts at just $3.74. And Good Chop especially prides itself on sourcing meat that comes with no antibiotics, no added hormones, no artificial ingredients, only the good stuff. I mean, choose from over 70 high-quality cuts, 100% grass-fed ribeyes, USDA prime filet mignon, free-range and organic chicken breasts, pork tenderloin, and thick-cut bacon, just to name a few.
They also offer sustainable and wild-caught seafood. I mean, they got salmon, Pacific cod, scallops, shrimp, and more. I mean, for me, I had the ribeye. I threw it on the grill, had some other things going on. It was perfection. I was really happy with it.
What specific cut do you like, Tom?
I'm a ribeye guy, but I should probably eat more filet, to be honest. But all their meats are good. And we also got the shrimp, which was... I don't know. I was impressed.
Well, I go to the grocery store and I feel like the meats aren't that top notch. You're sort of getting mediocrity when you go to a grocery store.
Well, and you have to go to the grocery store.
Yes.
This comes right to your house.
Good Chop delivers it straight to your door, vacuum sealed, frozen at peak freshness, so you could stock your freezer and cook when you want. It's really something else. Go to goodchop.com/talkville120. and use code TALKVILLE120 to get $120 off across your first 4 boxes. That's code at TALKVILLE120 at goodchop.com/TALKVILLE120 for $120 off. goodchop.com/120, code TALKVILLE120. And let me guess. So I love the end. When, if you remember, I don't know, it's been 20 years since you watched it, but like the episode ends with you guys, he's running after you, and he stops, and he looks at you, and then he takes off. He just goes into
Rascal Flatts is playing.
Yeah, he goes into this. Into this super speed where he realizes, oh, this guy's faster than what I can do. This is incredible, and I don't even know because I didn't watch the episodes. You come back, I guess, right?
Yeah, we do it, dude. Of course, we had a Justice League episode where
that's right. That's right.
Michael's never seen the show. You have to understand this whole podcast.
You put me in a cage.
Because Michael.
That's right. I remember the cage. I remember you guys.
He doesn't remember.
No. Tom,
he's never watched.
I do remember. Listen, I do remember because I say to him, and I wish I had a ponytail.
So
something.
That's right.
I say
that's
that.
Right. I give it. Yeah. Disappointments abound or whatever. That's right. Yeah. The ponytail line.
Yeah. The ponytail line.
That's so funny. Yeah. We came back and they never changed my suit. So I had grown up and I literally tried to squeeze into the same like super suit that they built. I was like, no, like shit, I couldn't fit in it.
Dude, budgets are everything. It's all about
they were so custom built too, like to everything. So
the ending of this episode is very similar to the ending of Smallville series. And what I mean by that is the character moves on. We know he's out there. We know he's doing well, but we can't go with him. We can't see him. Right. It's very similar.
Yeah.
So it's a very similar ending.
Yeah. That's cool.
I didn't realize that. And Kyle, you went on to do a lot of great things. You were in the hit horror movie Smile, which I had you guys over for on the Inside of You podcast, which is awesome.
That's right.
Dinner in America, which is so weird and dark and like crazy. And I mean, you're always working, and it's so cool to see you go from this bright-eyed kind of like role of this young Flash on Smallville and then blossom into this like character actor who can do so much. And
thanks, man.
It's really fun to watch. And I mean, have you ever thought of playing a superhero again? Did you ever would you like to be considered from Marvel or DC, or you don't really care?
There's this thing that it's like, I just love storytelling. I like making movies. I like working. I think there's something really neat in those like big chest swelling moments when you watch it and the hero goes off or the thing blows up. Like, it would be really fun to be a part of that and to jump into a world like that. Like, I wouldn't be against it by any means. I mean, I think it would be fun. I also think it'd be fun to be a villain in one of those.
Yeah, it is.
Or like, you know what I mean?
My answer is kind of like, I'm open to opportunities.
Totally.
You know, like, and I want to tell stories. I want to play characters. Like, let's go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't want to just jump into something that feels half cooked or something like that just to do it though. Like, it would have to be like, especially because there is such a fan base surrounding these characters. People love these characters that it's like, if I don't think the project would bring justice to the character, I would be really kind of wary of even taking it. Be like,
sure,
I don't want to just take it just to, it's like shooting yourself in the foot almost.
I feel like you guys. I feel like I want to tell good stories. I want to play a great character, and I also don't want to work that much, though. That's the difference. So if that's possible,
I also think if they redid Smallville, I think you could play Clark. I think that would be great. You're still young enough.
I shave it up a little bit.
You have to shave it up a little bit.
I still remember we were laughing. There was one line. It was either the Justice League episode or the first one where your dad was like, "Clark, you're just like a 17-year-old boy." Like, I forget how old you were at the time, but
I was like 22.
Yeah, you were like in your 20s.
I was like married and
yeah, dude. It's funny,
but
man.
Emotional. He was speaking to me emotionally.
Emotionally,
he was like, "You're still only 17." Yeah.
Were you 20?
I think it was 20. I was 21 or 22. 22. I think 22.
So I was 27 when we started.
But emotionally,
I'm still 22.
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too.
Well, look, do you remember anything else? We love having you on here, and I think it's fun for fans to go back in time and go, "Oh my gosh, this guy, he was the Flash." We gotta. First of all, were there any speculations or rumors or whatever that you thought maybe you'd play the Flash again, or they were going to do something with you?
Well, they had actually. There were rumors that they were going to do a pilot, like a Flash show. And then that never happened. I think it was because the Aquaman pilot didn't take off. There was like a couple things that happened at the time, but I remember there were like, there were whispers of like a potential Flash thing. I mean, dude, I was so new and so green. Like, I didn't know anything about anything. Like, I wouldn't have even known who to talk to about that or what that even really meant. I just remember hearing sort of whispers of the potential of that happening. And then, years later, they obviously made the Flash TV show and, it went off and did really well. But no, I mean, there was, that was sort of the big one that I ended up hearing later. I mean, I did hear that I would probably come back or they might do something, bring the Flash back again or Impulse. We were Flash at the beginning. And then I think that was also, the first advertisement was the Flash. And then I think because they were talking about expanding it into something else, I wasn't the Flash anymore, and they changed me to Impulse because there was like there was something. There was like a weird legal thing or something.
But you
going
still had
on.
the Ronald McDonald colors. Like, that's what I love about the Flash.
Yeah.
It's like the Ronald.
The ketchup and mustard going on. Yeah. But that was like the big one. But no, man, I really. It's one of those things that I truly do look back on fondly because, as you know, it's like not every set is fun. Not every set is easy. Yeah. Not every set's enjoyable. And, having that as one of my first things and being so kind of like protected and taken care of and looked after. And it was just such a good time that, when things are hard, you can look back and be like, yeah, but it can also be really fun and really great, What
I remember watching this is because that's how I felt when I started the show.
Sure.
And when you came on, I felt like I was smart. Like, I felt like when you and I were I was like, you can ask me questions because I finally have answers. Because for the 4 years before that, I looked to everybody else.
Sure.
So I actually felt like, and it works with the characters
like you could
too.
give him something.
They did a great job with the little brother, big brother dynamic on that show with our characters for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it felt very real because it was, dude. I mean, you were like, it was like you were fucking Superman. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm opposite, like, and to be able to kind of pick your brain and that's also what I remember because I've been on sets too where like, I get it. The leads are busy. They have a lot of lines to do. They have things to do. But I really felt like everybody gave me their time.
Yeah.
You know,
that's great.
To an extent, like, which was great. I didn't feel iced out in any way. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm just a guy on set.
Well, Rosenbaum set the tone for the set. I tell you that.
Yeah.
Did I? Well, I needed it to be very playful because I was playing such a serious part and I'm such a goofball anyway, man. That I just needed to always be having fun. Because if I took it so seriously where I was that guy all the time, it would not be fun for anybody or me.
For fucking 10 years playing something like that. Like, come on. And if
7.
It's too serious.
Being green, being new worked to your advantage. It absolutely,
100%,
you shine
I agree.
because I think that character needed to have that sort of element, that sort of like, I don't really know how to do this. And
I was so excited as just me that I was able to just be so excited, you know, and I think that's really what he was. He was just like, there's somebody like me and oh my God. And it just kind of naturally translated. And I remember the director kept telling me, he's like, just up it.
yeah.
And just keep pushing
but you also had this. You also had, not only did you have high energy in rewatching it and remembering the experience, you also had this. You were like pulling Clark into your
world,
to your world. Like, dude, come with me. Yeah. And that's
bringing some excitement in his life.
That's a character choice. You could have just said words.
Sure.
You could have just like ran around fast.
That's true.
Yeah. That was an essence that you brought to it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. I will tell you, like, I as long as the show was on, because I remember they started bringing in more superheroes and more people. That as long as the show was on, there was always this little part of me in the back of my head, like, maybe they'll bring me back. You know, like maybe I'll get a phone call. Maybe I'll get to go play one more time. You know what I mean?
Well, you did.
I was always kind of waiting, like, oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to go back and hang with everybody.
You know, I did a guest star on a show called Lucifer, and at the season finale, they killed me, and it was easy to like. I was kind of like, oh, they'll bring me back. And it was like 8 months later, and I was like, they haven't brought me back. I think my character actually died.
Yeah, right.
And then I got sad. I was sad 8 months later.
Yeah, dude.
Kyle, this has been absolutely awesome. We don't want to take any of your time, more of your time. What do you got going on besides all these other movies that I said? Like, go see Smile. It's one of the few horror movies I liked. Go see Dinner in America. It's a trip. And what's the new one that I have to see that I haven't seen yet?
Passenger is out right now. That's on MGM Plus. Mother May I just hit Tubi, and then I have another one called Strange Darling that we're waiting to see where we land, and that one's really cool too. Actually, that one's really good. We played Fantastic Fest, and they did really well there.
Sweet.
So we'll see.
What's your Instagram so people can follow you? Go follow this guy.
I think it's Kyle G Face.
At Kyle G Face.
Gallagher. Kyle Gallagher.
Kyle Gallagher. It's Gallner.
Yeah, it's Kyle G Face with there's a little blue. They just find the blue check because there's some fakes that are asking for weird stuff.
Awesome. Well, we love you, buddy. Thanks. We'll be in touch, and thanks for coming on, man. Yes, thanks for taking the time,
dude. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, that was awesome, Kyle. We love you. Thank you for coming on. It meant a lot. Now we're going to go to the hotline. The hotline. Listen to some voicemails.
Hi guys, this is Brian Pollard from South Charleston, Ohio. Tom and Mike, it was good seeing you guys in Nashville. My question is for episode run, and specifically for Tom. Tom, in that scene at the end when Bart and Clark are racing, do you remember how that was filmed? I know some films today use green screen and a treadmill, so do you remember how you guys shot that?
I do. We ran, and we had stunt doubles who actually ran more, but we ran after each other, and we shot it out of sequence because I could see that the emotionality didn't really track between the two cuts. But the takeaway is that Clark knows that he's going to be a good kid. I mean, if that answers your question.
I like it.
Yeah.
Butts. This is Butts. We love our butts.
Hey all, Butts here, calling in on the episode run. This is the first time we see Clark share the screen with another DC superhero. Do y'all have any insight as to whether or not this was supposed to be the foundation for what would eventually be the Justice League in the show, featured in Season 6, Episode 11, Justice? Or were they just having fun? Bonus question, how much did you guys know about the DC lore before you started Smallville? Thanks.
I didn't know anything about the DC lore. Literally zero. I knew nothing about Lex Luthor. I didn't ever... I remember watching Superman and going, oh, that guy's really good, that Gene Hackman guy, but I didn't try to model my stuff because he was more of a caricature. And they used to do that a lot. If they hinted of stuff that was to come eventually, I never really knew about it. I was kind of oblivious. I think most of us were. Sometimes they would do a nod and we wouldn't always get it. It was sort of for the writers and in case they wanted to get into that more in the future. But I never knew that stuff. Did you, Tom?
I don't know if I was ever made aware of it. There's a term called pocket pilot. We did it with Blue Beetle, which is an episode that I directed as well. And even with some of the characters that we had later in the Justice League, they would bring characters on to see how they worked and maybe branch them off. Nowadays, they call them multiverses and all these other things. But yeah, pocket pilot was a thing. I'm pretty sure this was a pocket pilot, even though they wouldn't have told the actor that.
Right.
It's probably what it was.
Hi, it's Michelle M. from Nashville, Tennessee. I am commenting on Season 4, Episode 5 run. It was really interesting to see how Clark was dealing with Bart because Bart was behaving very much Cal on Red K. So it was really interesting to see how Clark took on the Jonathan persona in a way to guide Bart along. What did y'all think about that? Thanks, guys.
I don't think Bart's on Red K. I think what Bart doesn't have is guidance, and what Clark has is guidance from his family. And it's actually funny that Clark doesn't ask Jonathan to help him with Bart.
He lets him deal with it on his own. He lets him deal with it on his own.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
That gives him responsibility. All right, next question. Johnny.
Hey, Michael and Tom. This is John from Yorktown, New York. I'm calling for Season 4, Episode 5 run. My question for both you guys. Guys, how do you guys feel that there's a huge DC character coming into this episode? What was your reaction when you first saw the script? Thanks, guys.
I didn't remember. I don't remember, but Tom does, I'm sure. He probably was like, whoa, what's this?
Actually, would be the opposite. You got to downplay it. Because Clark doesn't know. So that's how you have to look at it. Clark doesn't know who this kid is. I mean, that's the simplest answer, but
Let's be honest. All right.
Lex doesn't know who the Flash is either. You know what I mean? You have to play it that way.
Have to deal with them as it comes, as the situation presents itself. All right, next one. Joshua.
Hi, this is Joshua from Michigan, calling about Season 4, Episode 5, Run. Michael, you're on the short list of contenders for most important actor in Flash history. This episode has a Flash of sorts.
What?
Does your experience with the Flash give you any unique opinions or insight on Kyle's performance or this Smallville speedster?
Wait, you can't answer this question if it's going to take you off this list that he just stopped. What's this list?
No, it's just it's a list of best Flashes. I was the voice of the Flash for the Justice League Unlimited series, which was a popular series. It didn't last that long, but it was very popular, and the fan base is pretty big on it. But and it blew me away. It's blown me away that people are so supportive of my performance in that. And I just tried to bring some life and fun into the character when everyone else was so serious. And I think that this is exactly what Kyle did. He brought some fun and a new sort of dynamic to the series. And it was good to see Clark bounce off of what he does as an actor and the character. But I thought he did a great job as Lex. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I thought Kyle did a great job.
Yeah, hey guys, this is Simon again, calling from England, UK. So for you, Michael and Tom, both of you, when you found out that there was going to be the introduction of the Flash, even though he wasn't called that, were you guys like, oh, this is really cool? we're sort of getting into bigger Superman mythology? Or was there some part of you thinking, oh, wow, okay, they're really bringing in Superman mythology? Could the show almost be coming to an end? Anyway, as always, love the podcast. Hope you both come back to some Comic Cons in England soon. And Michael, please make Football Junkies too. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks. I would just say that, you know,
it was just
my first thought when I heard it, I remember being in the makeup trailer, I think, and I just remember going, they're bringing on other superhero. What's this show going to become now? What's going on? But I didn't know that it would have heart and it would be done in a cool way. So kudos to those guys.
Hey, Michael and Tom, this is Alex from Columbus. I was calling in about season 4, episode 5 run. When I was a kid growing up, I would buy the box sets on DVDs every summer. And so each disc had 4 episodes. So disc 2 had episode 5, 6, 7, and 8 of season 4. I think this is the greatest 4 run episodes out of the whole series. Do you guys agree with me, or do you think there's another 4 episodes in a row that might be better? Thanks.
Well,
yeah, great comment.
I didn't like the last 2 episodes, if those are included. So I do like this one in Transference. I haven't seen the ones after that, but I hope that this is one of 4 in a row. But that's all I have to say, Tom.
I have nothing more entertaining than what you just said.
This is international, folks. We're going to do Darren real quick. When Bart steals the map from Lex's mansion right in front of Clark and the alarm starts to sound, why was Clark just standing out there looking shocked? Why didn't he just super speed away? Well, because people probably saw him come in. He wasn't trying to be, you know, the guards probably saw him or somebody saw him. He was just walking in. He's been standing there for a while. It's not like he's super sped in, super speeded out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Leave me alone, Darren. I don't know the answer. But it makes sense. All right.
Yeah, weirdly, if he's standing there, he looks less guilty.
Yeah. He's like, if he's standing there, he's like, I don't know what just happened. I'm just here. I went to look at it and I was waiting for you. And I think he answered the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for your questions. Thanks for all your questions. I really appreciate it. We love hearing your voices. Now, Rosenbaum rating system. 3 roses is the best. We have halves, but 3 bombs is the worst. A heater is right down the middle. We'll start out with Tom.
I'm still left with a question: is what is Rasputin's path when it comes to that map? I don't know why. I don't know. I'll hopefully find out later in the season, but I will give this 1.5. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan.
1.5 for me too. I found it enjoyable. Kyle was great. Cool. It was cool.
1.5 for me too.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go 3 1.5s. That's a solid episode. Yeah, I liked it enough to give it 1.5.
I think that's the first time we've all given the same score.
I think so too. I thought it was enjoyable from start to finish. Death and save count. 0 dead, 2 saved. Bart saves Jonathan. Clark saves Bart. Through 5 episodes, 3 dead, 11 saved. Series 95 dead, 114 saved. And now it's time for Ryan's favorite scene.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
They're all speedy. First one, Bart saves Jonathan. Second one, Bart's Jesus moment.
What was that one?
Walks on water.
Oh, yeah.
And then the third one is the speedy goodbye between Clark and Bart.
I'm going to go speedy goodbye.
It's the water moment.
Water for you? I'm going speedy goodbye.
Speedy goodbye.
Yes! I won! You suck!
Ryan, you downplayed it so bad. Like when you even said what that last scene was, you downplayed it.
Well, you answered before I was done describing it.
If I can walk on water. No, that's not the right words.
You're right. I did.
If I can turn back time.
I just don't know who you are.
Superhero ending. Fun.
That's it for the episode. Stick around next week as we switch things up and talk about season 4, episode 6, Transference. Let's take the discussion online. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast or Talkville Pod. Show your support by joining Patreon. Patreon.com/Talkville. You get your name shouted out at the end of every episode if you're a top tier, and there's lots of other perks. And if you want more info like merch from the show or a hotline number, you can find all that in the description. And we love you and we thank you. And remember, folks, always hold on to Smallville. And we have to, of course, give love to our top tier patrons who make this podcast possible. And, We couldn't do it without you. Patreon.com/talkville if you want your name shouted out.
We see them out in the wild, so to speak. You know, I'm always like, what's your handle? You know, because we get to say it. It's fun.
Nikki G, Leanne P, Raj C, Santiago M, Little Lisa, Thomas the Leaf Blower, Shane W, Sophie M, Betsy D, Abby P, Ray Harada, Karen Apple M, 99 more, Lalani N, Brett G, always hold on to Smallville.
Estevan G, Garrett W, Bob K, Kimberly L, Tom N, Jason W, Osama A, Glenda, The Good Witch P, Lana Rams with Banana W, got you there. Nancy D, Brian G, Sarah W, YVR Grips, better known as Vancouver, Anna M, Amanda R, Teddy127, Michael P, Theo M, Ryan R, Jordan M, Randy B, Craig G, Karen P, Jorel, Heather and Greg, thank you for your questions. I made Talkville say butts. Brian H, Eric K, Kristen B, Danine W, Stephanie K, I'm on a roll, Darth Achilles, Finky, Early is on time, and damn, who's that?
Damn, who's that? Jeanette E, Deadvid, General Zod, Theodore, Big D, Doug R, Carlos C, Tommy Z Boston 68, Ken the Limerick Guy, Corey L, Mr. Home Arcade, Jesse C, Claire M, D Brown, Karen Area M, Jules M, Eldon Supremo, Leslie V, McBurts, good question, Ginger Moose, Christoph S, Michelle M, Drew, Michael Kane doesn't blink, Sebastian F, Sourpuss Cranky Pants, Matthew and Lincoln B, the Coopers, you can't forget the Coopers, or Marion Louise L, CGO, Cindy C, Nikki L, Shannon, Fo, Fannin, Tina E, Matt Rick, Jen T, Randy S, Cassie B, Brad A, Felicia R, Danny M, J S, and Rachel D.
Ginger Prime and Nate. Gingerous Prime and Nate D.
Yeah.
Got it. When you're rich and not crazy, you're eccentric. Chicken Flower Sammy Sharman. Okay. Carrie Ann, the Alexander Castle. Daryl E. Charlene A. Spicy Chicken, the only way to have it. Jenny B. Anna B. Monica T. Tom is my hall pass. Okay. Janime C. Batman's Boxer Briefs. I bet they're black. Don't you think they're black?
Yes.
Samuel Daddy M. Cameron R. Eric M. Jeffrey K. Tony K. I'll let you do the next one.
Tony K. Pip Kinnaby. Katya C. Previously on Smallville. Chario S. Geneva D. Geneva, yeah. Matt C. Rosie H. D-Pro, Sejal, and Devon. Or Segal. I think it's D-Pro, Sejal, and Devon. Chadwick B. Keith B. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. We love you, and we'll see you next time.